Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm an artist and designer and I absolutely love making stuff. And I love my laser engravers too. Lasers are now widely available and you can get them to suit most budgets. No workshop space is needed and I use mine right here in my home. There are absolutely endless possibilities when it comes to design solutions with your laser engraver. If you need an idea of where to begin with your laser engraver, xTool do some kits. I have the clock DIY kit here. It's a great starting pack of materials that you can use on your laser, along with 2 mechanisms to make 2 clocks. And I'll have lots of materials left over to be able to test out lots of other projects. So initially decide what you're going to be making. In this instance, I'm going to be making clocks. I always then go straight to my notepad and make some sketches and make some notes. I decided to make a bird clock, so I've done lots of different sketches. If you're not comfortable with making sketches, you can always go to Pinterest and make a mood board on there. I like to see everything visually on paper, make some notes and brainstorm all those initial ideas. I'm thinking about if I want a wall clock or a freestanding clock, what type of material I want to use and the sizes I have available to me. For the first clock that I want to design, I've decided I want to do the freestanding bird clock, but I'm keeping all my notes and sketches handy to come back to at a later date if I want to change any of my ideas. I next took some measurements from the clock mechanisms that I have and drew out a really rough sketch to scale. Laser engravers read SVG files, and so that's what I then create in Adobe Illustrator. You can draw and create designs straight into xTool Creative Space or Lightburn. If you're interested in creating completely unique SVG files, that's a whole new video. I then send these SVG files to my laser through the free software xTool Creative Space. Always make prototypes so that we're always designing, testing and not wasting our precious materials along the way. I made this sample out of some MDF sheets. I often make the prototypes out of cardboard as well. I made the first one a little smaller to iron out any errors. The design is made up of 6 layers and I redesigned each layer just slightly before I made the next prototype. Through the prototype stage, keep testing, changing, improving and refining. There are 6 layers to this bird and the details are really coming together. I'm gluing this full-size prototype together with strong super glue included in the kit, and putting the mechanism together and testing to make sure it works fully. The MDF isn't quite as thick as the wood I'm going to use from the kit, but this prototype is giving me a really good idea of how the project is coming together. Make a plan, but don't take too long making that plan. I find it's best of all to dive right in, start making, see what you enjoy creating. So that's exactly what I've done here. I've just made something that I wanted to create and hopefully this is something that I will be able to sell in my shop. I have the good wood from the kit and I always make sure I run a test to make sure the parameters on the engraving and cutting work well first. Change the settings and parameters as needed and then I send my final SVG files to cut on the laser. I have the smoke purifier fitted, so I'm able to do this here in my home. Having a laser engraver, you have a fantastic resource and a fantastic service that you could hopefully be able to offer to plenty of people in your community. Think of that as a possible business opportunity. Make a project like this, start something, create something, show people what you're able to make, and then maybe new work and new ideas will keep flooding in. And so it's a great way to set up a business. So that's why I say just dive in, get going, let that business plan flow, and really enjoy creating what you make. Once I am happy with the final design of this bird clock, I have the file and I'm able to cut this out over and over again, and it's not too much effort, so if you are able to design your own unique pieces, it really is worth doing that. I'll put a link in the description below of the laser that I'm using along with the kits. This bird is still in its prototype stage because as I add the wing on there, I'm thinking I'd quite like to do that in a lighter wood so there's a bit more contrast. So always be willing to refine your ideas. For the internal layers of this bird, I've decided to just use some of the cheaper wood just to test out the thickness and see how it works, and I actually really like that colour underneath. The really strong super glue that comes with the kit, I definitely recommend this for adding pieces together in this way. I tried some wood glue and it just takes too long and makes a bit of a mess, so I recommend the super glue that comes in these little tubes as it's really fast. I have these wood clamps, so I'm using them, but it's not absolutely necessary. The beak and the leg look a little odd, so I'm adding a bit of stain to them. Make life easier for yourself. You can make jigs and templates so that everything is placed easily. For example, when I made this acrylic sign, I cut an MDF template and I was able to glue those pieces in place, and then when I took the template away, I had a perfect design. I'm really happy with how the bird is turning out. We just now need to test it with the mechanism. And yes, it's working out well. Don't forget to put your company information on the back so people know where they've purchased this from. I'm using my big laser this time to add my logo onto the back, but I would normally use my xTool F1 as this is super fast for this kind of thing. I like to take an alcohol wipe and wipe over all the engraved areas and all the cut edges just to take away any debris. This is still a prototype, but it's nice to finish it properly. I have some really nice oil here from Odie's Oil. Definitely recommend it. It's all natural and it's really lovely to use. So it's important to finish our wood off with something lovely like this. When you initially design a piece, make sure you have a think about how long it will take to actually put that design together and how long it will take to finish and complete. I quite like to find items that don't need heavily finishing, and so you put them together and they're ready to go. A unique piece like this you would charge that bit more for, but it's a good idea to have a balance of high-end items and some cheaper items that are more accessible to all budgets. You can get these shiny adhesive backings that you can add to the wood, so I'm adding this to my MDF and trying this out on the laser. I'm not convinced about this, but I might have the settings set a little bit too high and it seems to tarnish the gold a little bit, but a nice effect. I'm experimenting, making a few more prototypes and also cut a base for the bird to be able to freestand. And I love how this design is coming together. Other kits you can get are things like this light box, where you can do lots of cutouts and you make a really nice 3D picture and then it all lights up. These kits from xTool just give you some ideas and a starting point. Once you're comfortable with the design and the idea you want to go with, do your research and buy in bulk. Think about your costs. It's not just the materials that cost, but it's also your time that costs. Can you personalize a lot of the items that you can create? If you can personalize them, you can add an awful lot of value. People are willing to pay quite a bit more for personalized items, so it's definitely worth adding personalization to at least one stream of your business. These were definitely a lot of fun to design and make, from the whole process of sketching at the beginning and seeing this complete item at the end. So I hope it's inspired you to go through that process, design something and create something completely unique. As you make your first item on your first batch of items, show them to your community, offer a service and see your business grow. Have fun on your laser engraver. I have plenty of other videos with lots of different ideas about laser engraving, so please do take a look. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next creative video.